Ooh, boys, it has been a while, but what is going on, guys? Ooh, it feels so good to be back. What's going on, guys? It is your boy, TK the University here, back again here on PlayStation Source, and I know it's been a while. I know it's been a long time. There wasn't a podcast for the past week. There wasn't any videos for the past week. I understand that. I know. I was on vacation this last weekend that just happened. I went to Houston. I went to Astro World Fest, so that was pretty cool. However, upon returning from that trip, I did get very sick, and I'm still getting over it. I still feel a little bit sick, but I feel at least good enough and have enough energy to be able to give my thoughts on some games which I've been dying to these past few days. But in wake of me being so sick, I did miss some school and stuff like that, and I did get a lot of time into Death Stranding, which I think was a good idea, or at least worked out pretty good for the type of game this is and stuff like that. Because I feel like if I were to give my impressions on it an hour in, let's say, I would have had a drastically different experience than what I've had with, I want to say I have around 10 to 15 hours in the game, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but somewhere definitely in that 10 to 15 hour range. I definitely have a lot of time in Death Stranding. I'm nearing the end of chapter 3 right now, and so without further ado, before we get into my impressions on the game, I do need to preface here that some of the gameplay that I'll be showing here once I get past this intro for PlayStation Source will be not spoilery in terms of story, but mainly spoilery in terms of like gameplay mechanics and weapons and stuff like that, and different things in the game. So let me just preface: if you are very sensitive to spoilers, please do not watch this video. Please go experience this training for yourself, or maybe just listen to my voice and then just don't look at the gameplay. That's cool as well. I won't be saying any spoilery stuff involving the story or anything like that, but I do just want to preface, if you are very sensitive to spoilers, make sure, boys, to not look at the gameplay if you don't want to. And again, the gameplay is not really even that spoilery. It's just me doing a delivery. I guess that's not spoilery. I'm delivering something to another post in the game, and I run into some baddies that are the BTs and stuff like that. So if you are sensitive to that, please do not watch the gameplay. I just tried to get gameplay that was not as spoilery, and I think that I did a pretty good job here with this gameplay here. So without further ado, let's go into my thoughts on Death Stranding. So let's start, at the top of this, right? So I have never played a Metal Gear game, right? This is my first Kojima game I've ever played. So I feel like I have a very, pretty cool perspective on that point, where I don't have, any recollection of a Kojima game that I've played. And so I don't really have any, necessary bias in terms of I'm automatically, going to love this game because of Kojima, right? And it took me a long time for me to really say, okay, I'm going to play this game, because when it first came out, I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't think I'm going to get it. It just didn't grab me. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't until we got the 50-minute gameplay from Tokyo Game Show, as well as, I believe, I forgot which trailer it was, but it was one of the trailers that we got, pre-launch, that I was like, you know what, guys, okay, you know what, I've never played a Metal Gear, never played a Kojima game, but I feel intrigued to play this game just because I want to know what it is. I want to know what's going on. I want to know the story. I want to know what you're doing gameplay wise. I want to know this game in and out for myself, right? And I want to be a part of the conversation about this game, right? So I get into it my first night, and let me preface here. So it came out last Thursday of this recording, excuse me. And I was leaving for Houston the next day, around noontime. So I put in about, I want to say, like 6 hours into the game before I left, right? No, way less than that. Well, what am I thinking? No, it was like 3 to 4 hours, 6 hours, what am I thinking? 3 to 4 hours before I went into the game. I mean, before I left for my trip, right? And I think it really did grab me, right? I think one of the elements of this game that is really having me back into the game, as well as I keep thinking about the game when I'm at work or when I'm at school, or when I'm just doing whatever. When I'm not playing Death Stranding, I keep thinking about Death Stranding because of the story. I think the story is really, really cool, and more specifically, the world building, right? And if I say things and I say criticisms that are just Kojima's style of game, let me know in the comments below, because again, I don't really know Kojima that well. I don't know the Metal Gear franchise that well as a whole, whatever, but I do know his stories are very big and fleshed out, and I've heard that the Metal Gear story, is very convoluted and very, goes in a bunch of different directions and super hard to follow at times from what I hear. But at least with this game, I'm seeing that this game really does a good job at letting you know what's going on and why you're doing it, and to some effects, especially when we have the character Deadman. I forgot which one of the two I'm talking about, but Guillermo del Toro, him. I'm pretty sure he's Heartman, I think, or he might be Deadman. Sorry about that. Let me know in the comments below which one it is. Forgot. But he, I feel like, definitely explains a lot of it, and honestly, to a degree, maybe explains it a little bit too much. Like, okay, I get it. I'm reconnecting, the world. I get it. Not the world, but America. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But he definitely just beats you in the head of what you're doing, which isn't really a bad thing. It's just a thing that I just keep noticing in the game, that he is definitely just wants to make sure that you know what you're doing and stuff like that, and I just feel like, for me, along with the story, one of the best things that this game accomplishes, at least for me, is creating a really, really cool world and a really, really cool future that is not so far-fetched, you know what I'm saying, and there's like a ton of lore, and there's a ton of reasoning there's just a lot in this, like there's a lot to dissect when it comes to the world and the story, you know what I'm saying, and like how America got to this point in Death Stranding, you know what I'm saying. And I think one of the really, really cool things in this game is that not only do they have the perspective of people that want to reconnect America again and want to bring it back to what it used to be, you also have a lot of opposing sides to this view. Like, even the main character, isn't really on board with this whole initiative and this whole force to bring back America in a way, or reconnect it in a way, like even him, he's not really on board, you know what I'm saying. And there's a lot of other people that aren't really on board that you'll meet throughout the game, which I think is really, really cool, and really does have a really, really neat perspective in terms of you are set out to do this task in this game, but you will have plenty of people telling you why they wouldn't do it, you know what I'm saying, and like why they think it's bad what you are trying to accomplish. I think it's really, really cool in that standpoint. But to talk about the overall gameplay, I guess I could, and again, I'm gonna try and be as not spoilery as I can be, you know what I'm saying. And again, if you're super sensitive, probably shouldn't watch this video. But the gameplay is essentially, you are making deliveries, right? You're making deliveries to different cities in America currently, which America is kind of not there, but you are making deliveries to different locations, and the main gameplay, I guess, like the main issue, not issue, but the main challenge that you will overcome and have to address in the gameplay is traversing and making it to that destination, right? So that can mean that there might be territories where you will run into BTs, which is caused by the Death Stranding and by timefall, you know what I'm saying, or you will have different requirements for your cargo, being like, hey, you have to deliver this within a certain time limit, or you try not to fall or try not to damage the package, because that will result in a failure of this certain job, because the cargo has to be 100% on the health or something like that, or like can't take more than 50% damage. And so there are stuff like that, along with you have to make really hard decisions in terms of, okay, what equipment do I want to bring with me to deal with any sort of anomaly, any sort of issue that I can encounter in the game as I'm traversing to the next point and doing this cargo mission, while also carrying the cargo itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make choices like that. And what I'm loving about the game is that it'll give you these challenges and you get through it, right? Like, you definitely get through it. You definitely do what you have to do to get through it. But at the end of that, it gives you a piece of equipment, or gives you another avenue, which I'm not going to say here on the video, but it gives you ways to make your life a lot easier when delivering packages, which I love about this game. I love that as I progress, like they are giving me different things that will make my travels easier, and like whether it be a piece of equipment, whether it be a different thing that I can construct, and also when so when you're connecting the cities, right, and when you're making these delivery cargo things, right, you are also not only delivering them, but you are trying to connect them to what's called the chiral network, right, which is a part of the Bridges UCA type company thing. And this is how you are reconnecting America again. Like this is the main focal point of what you're doing, when you're going out and like going out into different areas, that you are trying to connect the chiral network and trying to connect all the cities, or as many cities as will allow it to the chiral network, right? And once you are in a chiral network territory, you get access to everyone else's in real life structures that they have made in the game. So you'll get access to people's bridges and people's generators, and you give them likes and stuff like that. And so I love that part too. Like I love when I'm trying to be as less spoilery here. When someone leaves behind a structure, I'll just say that, right? When they leave behind a structure that proved very, very useful to me in a given moment, like when I really needed X thing, and then X thing is there, right? I love giving them a ton of likes, a ton of praise, and you see their PlayStation Network ID of who actually left it there and stuff like that, and how many likes they have so far, and so that's been actually really enjoyable. And I love the absolute reverse of that, where people are giving me likes for things that I've left in the world for them to have their cargo delivering be a easier and more just streamlined, less challenging thing to accomplish. And so I love that aspect too. It's very similar to Journey in that way, which I wasn't really anticipating, but it's very similar to Journey in terms of like you are playing with other people, but you don't see them, but you see the effect that they have. I think it's really, really neat from that standpoint, and I'm loving it. And the story, like I said, is definitely gripping me. I'm definitely intrigued by it. The characters are super weird, but I love them. There's also, again, I'm at the end of chapter 3, so there's still a lot more I have to experience. And I don't know when I'm gonna beat this game. Like, this game seems to be a very, very long game. I'm definitely trying to put as much time as I can into the game as possible. But who knows when I'll beat it. But so far, I am still enjoying the experience. And I'm trying to think of there's one more thing I wanted to address. Actually, I'm gonna address it right now. So in the game, this isn't really that big of a spoiler, because I feel like if you've been following this game to any sort of degree on social media or from other people, you'll probably heard this already. But there's this aspect of to rejuvenate your stamina, you can drink Monster Energy Drink, and I literally mean Monster Energy Drink, right? And there's also this weird thing where when you're in your private room to go take a shower or to go, relieve yourself in the bathroom, number one, or number two, what I'm saying, which those even have unique benefits as well to them, which is really, really neat in terms of gameplay. But when you go and do that, when the private quarters like closes, there's an advertisement for Norman Reedus' real life show on AMC called like Ride with Norman, I think, or something like that. And I think this is just weird to me, man. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I don't know if it's like product placement or if it's some sort of like promotion or whatever, what I'm saying, that like Kojima maybe got paid for this. I don't know, but I don't like it. Like, whenever I see it, like, it completely takes me out of it. Like how throughout the game we have very, very unique terms for things like timefall, like BTs, like BBs, what I'm saying, like chiral, like all these different things that are so unique and so just so imaginative, right? I can drink a Monster Energy drink out of nowhere. It's like, what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, it just definitely takes me out of the game, and definitely is still jarring, even 10, 15 hours in, what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I'm sure there's a big conversation about that as well that maybe me and Christian can have, but I just don't enjoy that part of the game necessarily. I don't know, man. Like, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, because at the end of the day, it's just rejuvenating my stamina, and I'm just taking a shower. What I'm saying? Like, it's not the biggest issue in the world. It's not breaking the game. It's not ruining the game to a degree, but for me, it just takes me out of it. It's just super weird and super jarring for me, and I don't know if that was. I just don't know. I just don't like that much. You know what I'm saying? But overall, like for me, I'm having a lot of enjoyment in plotting my route to deliver a cargo. I love doing that. I love hearing the characters and just the overall lore and backstory of this world is really, really great, right? And there's a lot of really, unique stuff in this game that I know. So I guess to end off this, right? There's a lot of unique stuff in this game, right? And honestly, it took me a while to really pin down if I actually like this game, right? And I think I'm comfortable saying that I do like this game. I am enjoying this game. Like I don't want to not play this game. Every time I'm not playing the game, I want to play the game. You know what I'm saying? So there is that, and I think one of, if not probably my favorite part of this game, right, is when I'm doing a cargo mission, and sometimes the camera will zoom out a little bit, give it a little bit more of that, like, when you would hold down the touch bar in Red Dead 2, and it'll go to, like, different camera angles that were more, like, cool, and more like a movie type deal, and it had music in the background of that. The game does a similar thing where it'll play some music from I think it's called Roar. I don't know if they're like an artist or a group, but I feel like I've only gotten the music from Roar as of yet. I think there was some different music in the beginning, but I love those moments. Those moments for me are so good, right? As someone that loves music and loves gaming, having that blend, and we talked about it here on the channel most recently, where we were talking about how this was the first game that was going to utilize music that was published by Sony music company, and blend those music tracks into the game. And we didn't exactly know how they were going to do that, but I love how they did it here in Death Stranding. I think it's beautiful. Those moments to me are definitely what is keeping me into this game. In a similar vein of Red Dead 2. Like, I am liking this game to a similar vein as Red Dead 2, where it's just so relaxing to play. It's such an experience to play overall. And it's so, it just doubles down on itself. It just doubles down on the world it's created, and I love that for it. And I love those moments of where the camera just zooms out. It plays a really, really soothing, calm, track that sometimes it has some very, very, dark themes to the song, but it makes sense with the game and what you're doing, and like the environment that you're in this desolate post, apocalyptic America that has all this crazy stuff happening in it, and I love it. So far, boys, that was a long video. Hope you all enjoy my thoughts on that, but that is my, up to end of chapter 3 thoughts on Death Stranding. I'm still enjoying it, but most importantly, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you enjoying Death Stranding? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also want to know, what is your favorite part about this game? I definitely want to know that as well. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure also, while you were down there, to check out our description where you can find our Twitter, our Discord, follow those, as well as our Anchor Link podcast, where you can, not our Anchor Link podcast, our Anchor Link, where you can follow our podcast feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Podcasts. You can find link below to find all those other links down below. Or if you want to just, search them on your own accord, search up PlayStation Source podcast feed. Like the video if you enjoyed it, as well as stay subscribed to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.